Britain in the 1950s was a nation rebuilding itself after the war, and its car industry was doing the same, producing machines that felt like promises wrapped in chrome and British steel. Some of those cars became legends. Others became expensive lessons in overhyped engineering and misplaced ambition. Today we are counting down 10 British cars from that decade that dazzled on paper but disappointed in reality. A few of these names will genuinely surprise you, and our number 1 entry might be the most unexpected of all. Subscribe to the channel right now, because this ride through British motoring history is getting started. Number 10. Standard Vanguard Phase 2. Kicking off our list at number 10 is the Standard Vanguard, a car that caused genuine excitement when it first appeared in 1948 and received its Phase 2 revision in 1952. The Standard Motor Company pitched it as Britain's answer to transatlantic ambition, a bold, round-bodied saloon that looked like it belonged on an American highway. And buyers were impressed. The 2.1-litre four-cylinder engine produced around 68 horsepower, which felt modern for its time. The integrated 3-box body was ahead of British convention. But there was a problem few buyers anticipated. That engine, while adequate on paper, thirstily consumed fuel and developed a growing reputation for unreliability as the miles accumulated. The interior felt cramped for a car that advertised itself as a family flagship. Rust attacked it early, and the driving experience never matched the showroom promise. Would you have believed the hype back in 1952? Our number 9 entry carried similar confidence, and carried it straight into disaster. Number 9. Austin A90 Atlantic. Number 9 takes us to one of the most bizarre styling decisions in British automotive history, the Austin A90 Atlantic, launched in 1949 and sold throughout the early 1950s. Austin's chairman Leonard Lord had one specific goal: crack the American export market. He commissioned a design so aggressively styled that it looked like someone had studied American chrome excess and turned the dial too far. The 2.7-litre four-cylinder engine delivered around 88 horsepower, and the car even set long-distance records at Indianapolis in 1949. That sounds impressive, doesn't it? But American buyers never came. The Atlantic was too British in its engineering and too American in its styling to satisfy anyone on either side of the ocean. British buyers found it ungainly, and only around 7,981 were ever produced before Austin quietly retired it in 1952. A bold gamble that ended in an embarrassed silence. Our number 8 entry, however, didn't chase America, it chased prestige, and lost more spectacularly. Number 8. Triumph Mayflower. Number 8 is one of the strangest ideas that ever came out of Coventry, the Triumph Mayflower, introduced in 1949 and sold until 1953. The concept was simultaneously brilliant and absurd. Standard Triumph wanted to offer working-class buyers a taste of Rolls-Royce elegance in a compact, affordable package. The razor-edged styling was genuinely striking, borrowed deliberately from the coach builder traditions of far more expensive British cars. That was the dream. The reality was different. The 1.2-litre side-valve engine produced just 38 horsepower, meaning the Mayflower struggled to reach 70 miles per hour on a generous day. Acceleration was almost non-existent. The gearbox was sluggish. And that beautiful razor-edged body, which photographed so magnificently, hid serious structural weaknesses that led to early body flex and rust. Around 35,000 were sold, which sounds respectable, but owners quickly discovered the elegance was only skin deep. And yet, our number 7 entry had an even more dramatic fall from grace, one that shocked the industry. Number 7. Sunbeam-Talbot 90 Mark II-A. Number 7 brings us to a name that once stirred real emotion in British rally enthusiasts, the Sunbeam-Talbot 90, updated to Mark II-A specification in 1952. This car genuinely had talent. It performed admirably in rallying events, and Stirling Moss himself competed behind its wheel in the 1952 Monte Carlo Rally. That alone generated enormous public excitement and pushed buyers through Roots Group showrooms in considerable numbers. However, the real story was very different. The 2.3-litre overhead valve engine produced just 77 horsepower, which was adequate but hardly the performance machine the rally reputation suggested. Road testers found the handling far more saloon than sports car. Buyers expecting sterling Moss-level thrills were consistently disappointed by the everyday driving experience. The brakes were outdated drum items, and reliability in private hands proved frustratingly inconsistent. Its rally glory was genuine, but that glory was never honestly reflected in the standard production version. Our number 6 entry carried its own illusions rather differently. Number 6, Daimler Conquest Century. Number 6 takes us somewhere rather more refined, the Daimler Conquest Century, introduced in 1954. Daimler carried enormous prestige in post-war Britain, a name associated with royalty, boardrooms, and quiet wealth. The Conquest Century was meant to extend that prestige to a slightly broader audience. It offered a twin-carburetor 2.4-litre 6-cylinder engine producing 100 horsepower, which earned the Century badge and genuinely made it one of the faster British saloons of the mid-1950s. Can you imagine that level of performance back then? Yet despite the numbers, buyers consistently felt shortchanged. The body was tall, narrow, and oddly proportioned, leaving the car looking like it belonged to an earlier decade. The fluted radiator grille was undeniably distinctive, but the overall package felt dated the moment it arrived in showrooms. The price carried Daimler's full prestige premium, yet the engineering underneath was fundamentally conservative and uninspiring. Our number 5 entry, meanwhile, would promise sporty thrills, and deliver something far more confusing indeed. Number 5, Riley Pathfinder. Number 5 is the Riley Pathfinder, a name that deserves to be far better known in overrated car history. When BMC launched it in 1953, the Pathfinder was positioned as a sporting saloon that would carry Riley's long motorsport heritage proudly forward. The 2.4-litre twin-cam engine with twin SU carburetors produced around 110 horsepower, which placed it firmly in performance saloon territory. The early press response was enthusiastic. Motoring journalists praised the power output. But there was a problem few buyers expected. The Pathfinder sat on a separate chassis that made the car excessively tall and top-heavy, resulting in handling that journalists kindly described as lively but experienced drivers privately found alarming. The Dunlop disc wheels, while distinctive, had a tendency to crack under hard use. Production quality was deeply inconsistent across batches, and the BMC corporate squeeze diluted Riley's engineering independence progressively. If you're enjoying this list, hit subscribe, because our next entry makes the Pathfinder look completely flawless. Number 4, Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire 346. Number 4 introduces one of the most underappreciated names in British luxury motoring, the Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire 346, launched in 1952. Armstrong Siddeley occupied a curious space between Rolls-Royce and the mainstream luxury market, and the Sapphire was their finest post-war attempt to stake a serious claim. The 3.4-litre 6-cylinder engine initially produced 125 horsepower, later boosted to around 150 in uprated form, which made the Sapphire genuinely competitive on performance. The build quality was exceptional. The interior was exquisitely finished. Reviews were glowing. So why does it appear on this list? Because the price positioned it directly against Rolls-Royce and Bentley, and against those names the Sapphire simply could not compete for prestige. Buyers paying Sapphire money expected Rolls-Royce reverence, and they never received it. Armstrong Siddeley folded its car division in 1960, leaving owners stranded without parts or support. You might think this belongs higher on the list, but the next 3 entries are in a different league. Number 3, Bristol 405. Number 3 brings us to one of the most fascinating stories in British automotive history. The Bristol 405, introduced in 1954. Bristol cars occupied a unique position in the British motoring world, an aircraft manufacturer turned automobile builder, using engineering principles and precision that genuinely set it apart. The 2.0-litre 6-cylinder engine, developed from pre-war BMW designs acquired as war reparations, produced around 105 horsepower. The 405 was Bristol's only 4-door model, and the engineering underneath was extraordinary. Yet despite the sophistication, the reality for buyers was awkward. The performance, while refined, was not spectacular for the asking price. The styling divided opinion sharply. Some found it handsome, others thought it looked like an unusual saloon from a less prestigious manufacturer. And because Bristol sold directly rather than through dealerships, the buying experience felt exclusive to the point of being inaccessible. The car shocked those who expected value to match reputation. Wait until you hear what happened at number 2. Number 2, Jowett Jupiter. Number 2 is a car that truly deserves its place near the top, the Jowett Jupiter, unveiled at the 1950 Paris Motor Show. Jowett, a small but fiercely ambitious Yorkshire manufacturer, produced a genuine sports car with a lightweight tubular chassis designed by aeronautical engineer Robert Eberhard von Eberhorst. The 1.5-litre flat-four engine produced around 62 horsepower, and the Jupiter weighed just under 900 kilograms, giving it a power-to-weight advantage that let it punch well above its class. It won its class at Le Mans in both 1950 and 1951. That sounds impressive, doesn't it? Yet the reality was far more troubled. The chassis developed serious cracking problems under stress. Quality control was inconsistent. And Jowett, financially stretched by production difficulties with its Javelin saloon, simply could not keep pace with demand. The company collapsed in 1954, leaving owners completely stranded with no support whatsoever. The car at number 1 entry, however, failed on an even costlier and far more dramatic scale. Number 1, Rolls-Royce Silver Dawn. And here we are, number 1. The most overrated British car of the entire 1950s carries perhaps the most revered name in motoring history, the Rolls-Royce Silver Dawn, built between 1949 and 1955. Rolls-Royce stood for absolute perfection. The Silver Dawn cost the equivalent of several years of average British wages. The 4.25-litre inline-six engine, later enlarged to 4.9 litres, was refined, hushed, and produced around 150 horsepower. The interior was flawlessly crafted. The ride was serene. So where did it go wrong? The Silver Dawn shared its body shell with a Bentley Mark VI, a car that cost significantly less. Buyers paying a premium for exclusivity were unknowingly sharing architecture with a far cheaper machine. Early examples also developed rust at a price point where rust was genuinely unforgivable. The exclusivity was theatre, not engineering truth. Can you imagine paying that price and learning this? That is precisely why the Silver Dawn earns its rightful place at number 1. So there you have it, 10 British cars from the 1950s that promised far more than they delivered. From the Standard Vanguard's agricultural charm to the Rolls-Royce Silver Dawn's gilded illusion, the pattern is consistent, ambition outran execution, and buyers paid the price. But here's where we want to hear from you. Do you disagree with any of these rankings? Would you have placed the Silver Dawn at the top? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through British motoring history, subscribe to Britain Rewind, because our next video is one you cannot miss.